If you or a loved one experience immediate crisis, please dial 988 to access the National Crisis Hotline. If you are in need of more information, support, or want to learn more, you can reach us via email thriveca@coreresponse.org or find us on Instagram at mindyourmind_Cal.
Hi everybody, we're the Youth Advisory Board of a campaign called Mind Your Mind on social media, and our goal is to spread mental health resources. You guys can follow us on Instagram, mindyourmind_Cal. Do you guys want to introduce ourselves really quickly?
Yeah, I'm Clara.
I'm Maddie.
I'm Melanie, and today we're going to give you guys like an overview of academic stress and parental pressure surrounding school, academics in general. Do you guys want to give like a definition or an overview of what academic stress means to you guys?
Well, for me, academic stress is when my academics, extracurriculars get in the way of my social life, or just like more priority toward like what I want to do for fun, and then where it stresses me out or makes me like overwhelmed.
Yeah, for me, academics translates to like preparation for the future. So sometimes like it can get a little bit stressful when, yeah, like Maddie said, like academics get in the way of your life, get in the way of your like personal life. And it's also kind of scary to like reflect on your activities at school or your academics and wonder if like you're doing enough to prepare yourself, or if you're meeting your own standards or standards that the people like have for you.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good definition of it. Just like in general, I wonder if you guys have any like experiences. Like I know that you, Melanie, I know that you brought up standards. Do you have any experiences with like comparing yourself to like your peers or whatnot, and like the stress, the general stress and anxiety that would bring?
I definitely think that at school there's a really big like like an environment of competition, especially like when it comes to like people asking you about college, you like going through the whole college process, like waiting for acceptances and stuff like that. Yeah, so comparing yourself to others is definitely like common, I would say. And like even like earlier in high school, it's like you have like teachers and counselors and stuff like that, like wanting to let you know how you can be more competitive, and that definitely can like cause stress.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of like competition is at school. I know a lot of schools don't mention where they've been accepted to, or like a lot of schools, I know several of people I know like don't even mention where they applied because it's so competitive.
Like it only matters if you get in.
Right. So once you like finally like committed, that's when they mention where they've been and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like that comparison to others can really easily ties into what you were talking about college and self-esteem. There's a pattern of thinking called all or nothing thinking, or black and white thinking, or the black and white fallacy. But it's basically like in the context of college, like say someone really wanted to get into USC and they did not get into USC, but they did get into like UCLA, which is a really, really good school. And it's definitely something to really be proud of. But in the sort of black and white thinking pattern, they'd be like, okay, well, that doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter where else I got accepted to because I got rejected from USC. So everything is terrible. And I feel like that's definitely a very prominent pattern of thinking just in general life, but especially in academics, and something that I'm kind of prone to as well.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely like a big I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know what that meant before. What is it called?
It's called black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. There are a couple different names for it, but those are the main ones that I've heard.
Yeah, I'd say that I've experienced that type of thinking. Like, I think it can be overwhelming, and you like start to overthink sometimes, and yeah, that pattern of thinking, I would say like I've experienced it, and I'm pretty sure other people have experienced it too. Yeah.
Well, personally, I going into a community college, and so while comparing myself, I hear my friends getting into all these like really good colleges, but it's really sad to see them be like, oh, I didn't get into this really good college, but I got into this good college, and it's like, oh, but you know, you're still up there. They don't have to like worry about like how far they can reach, because they are reached pretty far.
I feel like that's a very prevalent thought, especially among people who are going to college or general high school seniors. But I feel like it also ties really strongly into self-esteem. Like, I'm someone whose self-esteem is very tied up in academics. And my academics, they're pretty good, but I'm someone who, like, I mentioned that I'm pretty susceptible to the, like, black and white thinking, and I'll be like, oh, well, you know, I have a B in math, so I'm terrible at math.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely susceptible to that kind of like thinking too. Like, I've definitely like measured like my own self-esteem to academics as well, because I know that, well, the way that I've thought of it a lot of the time is like my grades affect my future, and what will my future look like based on the decisions I make now, academically.
Yeah, and I think like I'm also a raging perfectionist, which kind of sucks. You know, because like, you know, very, you know, glass is 3% empty rather than 97% full and whatnot. And I think that like that sort of way of viewing grades, I mean, like I know I'm preaching to the choir here. Like I think we all, like I'm thinking all high schools, like most high schoolers everywhere know that that's a really bad way to go about, you know, judging yourself especially, but like also judging just like your general academic knowledge and performance. Just like, well, I had a bad day. I took the standardized test and I got a C on it, so I'm really stupid and dumb. And I feel like it's definitely hard, especially when we set like sort of impossible standards, you know, to ourselves. You know, like you're sort of inevitably setting yourself up for failure, you know. Do you guys agree with that? Like, do you have any?
Yeah, academics and like my grades are something that I put a lot of effort into, and sometimes it can feel like if I'm not doing really well, then like why am I putting so much time into this? Like, why am I counting so much on my academics to like shape, like, I guess, my life? Yeah.
I mean, I feel like with the standards we set for ourselves is like kind of outwardly like really hard to reach, but at the same time it seems possible. I think that's why we kind of set those standards for us, because we see like other people like have straight A's, like 10,000 hours of extracurriculars, and then they say, oh, that's they're doing that and it's possible, so why can't I do that, you know? So I think that's where it kind of comes from.
I'm one of those people with straight A's and 1,000 hours of extracurriculars.
You are the pressure, Clara.
Seriously, yes, I am. I am the. It's like.
But maybe that's like your response to pressure you were feeling, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's nice to like look up to, like.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
Melanie, you mentioned worrying about the future lately, and you also mentioned that like you've always wanted to go to college. Is that just like sort of like an expectation that like your family has held for you, or is that something that like you have always wanted to like do a career that would require college?
Yeah, I think if I really wanted to go in depth into that, I could talk about that for hours, but I think it mainly just comes from like I'm a first generation American, and I kind of have to do well because I'm like, I have opportunities that people didn't have for me before. So like, if I don't take advantage of them, then like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I'm kind of throwing away like the effort that people have put in like before me, so that I could have like opportunities to study, to like do well in school, to like get an education, you know?
Yeah. For me, it kind of comes from the opposite direction.
Really?
Yeah, both my parents have PhDs. I have two grandparents who have PhDs. One of my grandmother actually put herself through night school with two kids to get a PhD. So like, it's always, I didn't, you know, like it was just always sort of expected that I would go to college. Like my parents were never like, you know, explicit about like, Clara, you must go to college. But like, I didn't realize that college was optional until I was like 8. Like, because like everyone around me had gone to college. So I was just like, you know, it was just like you do high school and then you go to university. And usually you get a doctorate.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, like, again, like with my family, like, again, it's not a like explicit pressure. It's also like, I'm a very self-motivated person. I've wanted to become a lawyer since I was 7 years old, which does require university. And like, it's like, I kind of like, I've always known that I've kind of like you, I've always known that I've wanted to go to college because I've kind of always wanted to do a career that would require a college degree. Maddie, you mentioned that you were going to a community college. Is there like, can you walk us through like the thought process about like, you know, why you decided that was one of the many, many beautiful paths to, you know, a successful life, you know, why you decided to choose that one?
So I do live in an Asian household, and so I have the pressure of being like, you know, being successful. I did write all my PIQs and have everything set up. I just never turned it in because I was so busy with my other academics with actual schools and worrying about more that grades and my actual college. And so I think part of it was like I was overwhelmed with the submissions and I was hearing all these alternatives. I was like, we're in the middle of like doing things that require money. And so I'm like, well, if I'm gonna, you know, save some of my parents' money and my money, might as well just go to community college where I am guaranteed to go to a university that I can choose that it's like mostly guaranteed. So the one I'm going to offers pathways to like UC Berkeley, which I'm aiming for. So I can take certain classes and get certain credits in order to directly apply to there. And it's much easier for me for, you know, 2 years is not that much. And I think it's a good enough sacrifice than rather going straight into university. And I go to a small school, so I'm not sure how big college is going to be. And so it gives me time to adjust. And I think that's why I chose to go community college.
Yeah, I feel like that 2-year to 4-year college, you know, like of doing like the first 2 years of college or doing an associate's degree and then a bachelor's degree is, I think, it's one of the most slept on like career pathways. It's a financially sound decision. Like you said, you're pretty much guaranteed to go to wherever you want. And it's really cool that you found like a university that will allow you to go to like Berkeley, whatever. That sounds really fun.
Yeah, I
don't know if fun is the word, but that seems really cool. Like,
yeah. I don't know. I think 2 years is worth the sacrifice since especially I plan to do like almost 18 years of school more. So that's like...
Wait, really?
Yeah. So if I want to get my PhD and also doctorate, so kind of like 18 years-ish.
Plus, if you do an associate's degree, then you'll be like, well, you will probably have like if you want to, I don't know what you want to do, but like, I'm assuming something in STEM because a lot of schooling usually correlates to something.
Psychology, that's where I plan on going to, yeah.
Like, you can be like, well, I have one more degree than all of you guys.
That's true. And community college offers associate's degree as well as your schooling, so you can get like, you can hit two birds at once with one stone.
Good idea. You know, people sleep on like people who take like gap years or community college, but I think you will be significantly less stressed out than all of your friends.
Probably. And it saves money, so I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, honestly. So, you know, we're all in high school. You guys are going to college next year. I'm a freshman. Do you guys like struggle with like procrastination or like general time management things?
Definitely. I'm a huge procrastinator. Like, it's horrible. I'm a horrible procrastinator. What about you?
Oh, I'm really bad at like time management. Like I can spend like 2 hours doing something, not realize like 4 hours like pass by.
Yeah.
Like
I found like I haven't really been a huge procrastinator, but I found, you know, I'm a freshman, this is my first year of high school. I found that I've
is
really
it getting to you?
Yeah, I've really started procrastinating more than like my entire life, and it's a problem. But I feel like it will. I feel like I am predicting this. I'm taking my little tarot card deck, and I feel like the way that that future me will cope with it in like a couple of years is not dealing with the procrastination and like doing stuff earlier, but just being really good at rushing through stuff. Because that's what I did with getting out of the house in the morning. Yeah. I woke up at 7:30. I figured out how to get out. Yeah. I went from bed to car 20 minutes because I do not want to wake up.
That's me.
Yeah, I definitely like during freshman year, I was really on top of it. Like I did homework as soon as it was assigned. Like I had like free time, like mostly because I did the homework. It kind of builds up sometimes. It's nice to start now, like building those like good habits of like, you know, doing it early, like convincing yourself to actually do it. But
I found one of my greatest hacks for like schoolwork is doing it and like during like doing what I can during the school day, but you know, that's not really oftentimes it's not really feasible. Like I can't get a ton done because like I'm busy doing other classes and whatnot, and like, you know. But I found my thing that I really enjoy is, or not enjoy, but I think my most concrete good tip is doing homework in like the car on the way home from school. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm autistic. Also, I'm a person. So school takes a lot out of me, especially because I'm taking some challenging classes and whatnot. So by the time I get home, I'm usually like a husk most days. Like I am completely devoid of thoughts. But I find that like I'm really good at like muscling through the school day. So like if I'm in the car, then I'm kind of still in like my like school brain. So I find that like as much like it's like my ride home takes like an hour.
Wow. I feel so bad for you.
I mean it's not that situation. Yeah, it's
So Clara, what is procrastination? Can you give us a definition?
Yeah, so procrastination, definition that I've just learned. One of the lovely therapists that is hanging out in the back of this recording room. So procrastination it's a coping mechanism that a lot of people employ, usually in work or school, but I mean, I suppose you could put it anywhere. But it's basically putting off something until a sort of unspecified time in the future, or sometimes specified, but it's something like, you know, like I'll do it tomorrow, you know. But it's a way to sort of avoid whatever you're doing currently. It's not, and it's a thing that everybody does to some extent. Some people more than others. But I mean, like it's a very human thing to do. I feel like it's not really something that's like shameful. It's something that like I think we all need to like work on to some extent. I mean, if procrastinating works for people and like they manage to get all their stuff done in a timely manner, then like, you know, whatever, more power to you. But like, I feel like it's something that we all need to work on, but it's also like a very human thing.
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those people that like employs it more in their lives. I'd say like I'm a big procrastinator. It shows up in my life like with school, like with assignments. I sometimes find myself like putting things off like for way like later, and because I think I have time. I'm like, I have so much time to do this, I'll just do it later. And then like I like last minute I'm always rushing to do things, like rushing to type up like a paper or to finish a presentation. Yeah, and I think it causes a lot of um like like stress under pressure that like I find myself regretting because I'm like I could have done this so long ago. Like next time I'm gonna do better, and then I never do better. It's like I don't know what like experiences do you guys have?
Pretty much, I think similar to what you're doing is like, oh, I'll do it later. Again, like when I come back from school, I'm really tired, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this. And usually, I do it at some point. Usually.
Mm-hmm. Actually, my school has a really we're really known for having like really bad procrastination issues. Like our teachers are like we know we turn it in at like when it's due at 11:59, we turn it in at 11:59. But I think the way that I do it is I procrastinate what I don't want to do. I hate English, so I would procrastinate my English assignment last and maybe work on my math 1st. Mm-hmm. Right? Trying to balance it out or just balance it out with procrastination. I think I try my best, but I still end up turning things in straight on the due date.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I feel like those experiences are very common. I wonder if you guys have any experiences with burnout and how you deal with general stress.
Yeah, being a senior in high school, I think senioritis, I guess, is a big thing. You see people around you getting affected by it, whether it's a state of mind or a placebo effect or whatever, people, but it's a pattern that you see. And I think burnout comes into the picture when and earlier on in time, you don't think that issues will affect you, and then later on you find out that maybe you don't have enough time to deal with everything. Maybe you've signed yourself up for too many responsibilities, and then you just find out later on that maybe you should have taken it easier on yourself. So yeah, do you guys have any experiences with that?
My school is very very demanding. So throughout I think when I reached sophomore year, I was completely burnt out. Mm-hmm. And the way I coped with it was kind of reward myself when I did something if I got all my assignments done, I could go hang out with my friends. Or if I didn't want to do the certain assignment, I'd be okay, I'll do it right now, and then treat myself to a treat to help me stay a little bit more motivated than just not doing it. That kind of pushes me to do things even though I'm burnt out, and just look forward to what comes next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I've kind of pretty much usually have a lot of extracurriculars, and I think it can be very taxing and demanding, and especially because I'm doing a lot over the school day. So I think my most valuable thing that I do is just trying to squeeze every bit of alone time I can, because I'm a huge introvert. So I just I really need, at the end of the day, I need 2 hours where no one talks to me.
I like that.
Yeah, I think talking about this makes me realize that everybody kind of deals with the same academic stress. And to anybody listening, I think it's really important that you everybody recognizes that we're all dealing with some sort of pressure and stress to any extent, to some extent. And it's really important to look for ways in your life that you can minimize or deal with that sort of those feelings. And yeah, so thank you guys for having this conversation.
Thank you.
Bye.
Cute.